Hello, what's good? You guys are watching the live takeover with Shay Johnson on USA Fibroid Center's page. And as promised, I am back at 1:30. And I just want to give a quick opinion on what I'm going through and what I'm feeling, because this is going to be based on our next live, which will be very good. The next live will be at 3 o'clock. It's going to be based on mental health. And it will be myself, of course, the host, my brother, Dr. Joe Johnson, his wife, Dr. Brandy Johnson, and my baby brother, MJ. And at the same time, we will all be on the live. That's so much fun to me when it's like 3 or 4 people on the live at one time. I don't know, it's just fun. But we will all be on the live at one time, giving our opinions and speaking on mental health. The reason I wanted my brother and my sister to come on and speak on mental health is because they specialize in that area. They dealt with it a lot in college. They've done several papers when it came to mental health. They've studied a lot when it comes to mental health, and they're both doctors. So why not speak to two individuals that's, I guess, more educated in that area than I am. But before I jumped on with all 4 of them, I wanted to have one-on-one with you guys and tell you how I felt when I found out I had fibroids and how the symptoms had me on a roller coaster ride. Okay, there we go. We're back. But I had all of the symptoms when I had fibroids. I have them now, but I just had my baby, so I'm trying to see how bad the symptoms will be. But when I had my fibroids, I had all of the symptoms from back pain, pelvic pain, blood clots coming out the sides of my palm. I had menstrual cycles lasting 15 to 20 days. Sometimes I'll end the period at maybe 15 days and it'll come right back 3-4 days later. Heavy menstrual cycles. And the worst to me was the constant urination. I was back and forth to the bathroom at least 3 times an hour. I couldn't sleep. I had accidents in public, meaning menstrual accidents in public. It was just embarrassing, and I felt like emotionally everything was going downhill for me. I didn't want to work. I didn't want to work out. I was unfocused on my brand. I didn't want to date. I just felt like fibroids took over my soul. And I didn't realize until later, after my surgery, after I removed the fibroids the first time, that I personally feel like I was depressed. I feel like I had a lot of mental health issues, and I didn't know how to recognize them at the time. So because I didn't know how to recognize them, I didn't know what I was going through. I guess when I was growing up, I wasn't taught to release, meaning talk about my issues, release whatever's bothering me mentally, try to fix the issue. What I was taught and what I was raised on was ignoring the problem, deal with it, by facing it is looking over it. And those were never positive ways to get through any situation. So I carried that from my adolescent years on into my adulthood, and that's why I didn't notice I had mental health issues at the time. When you're going through fibroids by yourself, and I went through it by myself because I was embarrassed. I didn't know how to open up and talk to anybody about it, so I would cry constantly. I was in the bed all the time. I separated myself from that current relationship that I had. It was sad. It was really, really sad. And I really didn't want to go anywhere publicly because I had several accidents in public. So I said, you know what, let me just isolate myself. And I shut down. This is why I think the live is so important. And I wanted to have a one-on-one with you so you can understand how I was feeling, because I'm not the only one that felt like that, during fibroids. Like I said, I say this all the time. Everybody won't have a bad case of fibroids. Some women have fibroids, they come and they go. They don't even notice them. But I think that my situation has been going on far longer than when I finally recognized the situation, when I finally went to the doctor and was diagnosed with fibroids, I feel like I had fibroids for a while. Because when I started to think back, like, wow, is this why I had a miscarriage? Is this why I had so much pain during my menstrual cycles? Even my mother talked about it. Like, she said, when you were in high school, your pain with your menstrual was so extreme, you would have to stay home. And of course, I remember that. Yeah, but I thought I just was one of the women that had a bad case of menstrual cycles. I didn't, not one time, think it came from fibroids. Nor did my mom think it came from fibroids, because honestly, my mom never heard of fibroids until I got it. How is that possible? I'm sorry, I got something in my tooth. How is that possible? Fibroids is so common in women all around the world, every single culture. It seems 70% of all women will have some type of case of fibroids by the time they're 50, but we don't talk about it. I mean, you guys don't think that's weird? You know, why is it taking so long for the government to put a certain amount of money into research when it comes to fibroids, because of the side effects it has, the symptoms that come along with it? Why are we suffering like this? This is why I have so much respect for USA Fibroid Centers, because it is the first company that is, and it's not the only, but it's the first company that I recognize, that I see, that speaks loud and proudly on fibroids and opens up, and I guess created a lane for women not to suffer in silence, created a lane for women to understand there are other options outside of myomectomy and hysterectomy. When I met the owners, Dr. Yan and his wife, and the other ambassadors that are with USA Fibroid Centers, it's almost like, instead of being so embarrassed from having fibroids, I became proud that I am able to speak up and speak out on my situation and enlighten women, to show them that it is okay. You have a situation and it's just another obstacle in life that you have to deal with, that you can get through, because you're not the only one dealing with it. And they also enlightened me to the fact that I can show women there are other options outside of myomectomy hysterectomy, which is UFE. Like I always tell you guys, I didn't know about UFE, and I talk about it all the time because I'm mad. It really makes me angry that I wasn't given the option of a UFE, because of the situations I went through while I was pregnant. I would not have had to go through that if I had UFE. You know, the myomectomy scar was an issue during my pregnancy. The previa was an issue during my pregnancy. It's just not fair that I had to have a cesarean, and if I decide to have another child, I have no other option but to have a C-section. It's just, sometimes I can deal with it and talk about it and be okay, but like my voice is getting shaky, because I'm like, I live in the United States, I live in a world where money rules. And I'm talking about money ruling because that is the reason I wasn't given an option of UFE. UFE doesn't really cost much. And honestly, there are several insurance companies that cover UFE, the UFE procedure, which is non-surgical, by the way, to remove your fibroids, uterine fibroid embolization, UFE. So, yes, it bothers me that doctors are not presenting this option to women. They would rather slice and dice them to remove the fibroids via myomectomy or hysterectomy, or remove their entire uterus. Like, who? It hurts. So when I hear the different stories and I talk to different women, it's like I have flashbacks, or it's just relatable to where I show empathy, because I have been in your shoes. Now, the level of fibroids, whether it's a bad case or, you know, minor, minute, it depends on your body. Like I said, some women might not show symptoms, but I did. I had all of the symptoms. But I will say I didn't have the worst case, because if you heard some of the stories I've heard, and the fact that women are dealing with situations where they're either having miscarriages, or they've had so many different surgeries to where they can't conceive and have a child. It's preventing them from doing things that they want to do in life, i.e. have a baby. Like I was talking to we were talking to a female last time I did a live, and her fibroids were blocking one of her fallopian tubes, and they literally had to remove it because that's why she was having so many complications getting pregnant. Her child, when she conceived her baby was inside of one of her tubes. So that's just one of the many stories. I even spoke with another individual who's actually a brand ambassador for USA Fibroid Centers, and she's been trying to conceive for over 10 years with her husband, and she can't because of fibroids. It's like, why? It's just so sad that the government kind of looks over this situation that I consider a pandemic, that if we put enough research into it, we can make it easier for women. We already have it hard. We already have it hard with other daily issues. We don't need fibroids to be added to that list, and we don't need fibroids to be looked over as if it's minor. So that's why I do the lives. That's why I talk about it. One thing it does do, it makes me proud when I see the different comments in my DMs and the emails that I get, and just from different women telling me thank you. I just got several the other day because my new commercial has been airing through USA Fibroid Centers. They have a new commercial out that's been airing on television, and several people have seen it, and they've sent me DMs and email messages telling me thank you, and they appreciate me, and the fact that I was able to direct them to USA Fibroid Centers just to know their options, to see if they're a candidate for UFE. They were just thanking me, and it made me feel good. You know, if I helped one individual, that's great. You know, it's self-gratifying, but I know I'm helping hundreds. So I'll continue to speak up and speak out. But I just wanted to really quickly talk to you guys about how I was feeling with my mental health issues, which I now recognize. But we'll get a little bit deeper into that with my brother, Dr. Joe Johnson, again, his wife, Dr. Brandy Johnson, and my baby brother, MJ. All four of us will be on a live at the same time at 3 o'clock. Okay? That's in about an hour and 15 minutes. So now that you have, you know, a synopsis on my mental health, and that I finally recognized that I had mental health issues when I had fibroids, I want to talk about it and see if, and I know my brother and my sister, they will give you information on how to recognize it, you know, and how important it is to have family around you. I should not have blocked my family out the time that I blocked them out once I found out I had fibroids. I should not have been embarrassed about my situation. I should not have cut my family, friends, relationship. I should not have separated myself from life because of fibroids, but I did. You know, I did. And it's okay. I won't do it anymore. I have fibroids now, and I have decisions to make in the future, and I'll make sure my family is completely involved, and I will speak on my situation via social media. Social media is a great avenue to reach the public, to have a voice. So I'll continue to do that. All right. So make sure you come back here at 3 o'clock. Oh, thank you, Sunshine. Oh, thank you, Sunshine. Thank you. She said that thanks to me, she has a date where she's going to have her UFE procedure done. Good for you, my love. I'm glad you're removing those fibroids, my love. So you're welcome. And come back at 3 o'clock, where we'll go live with my family. It is the live takeover with the Johnsons. And this is your girl, Shay Johnson, signing out. See you at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, okay? Peace.